I'm sure there's more, and I'm sure there's questions. So if you're listening to this recording and you have questions, you can email those questions. I think you can leave comments right there in the app as well. If you're on live today, you can ask questions about whatever you want, get coached on whatever you want to today. We have just a few people on, which is such a bummer because we have all these new people that joined and they're missing out on the live. So I want to figure this out on how to get people here. But raise your hand if you have anything.
Hi, Michelle. I'm
Hi.
waiting. I'm waiting to see if there's anyone else. I hate going first.
I know, right? Yeah,
So,
it's I'm glad you're always willing to do it because honestly, like I think your questions that you ask in your situations, a lot of people get benefit from that. So don't feel bad.
yeah, I was just thinking about Samantha, I think, last week with the sleep uh, problems for her girl. I struggle with
Yeah.
this too. My child is a fiery dragon in the morning. She doesn't sleep. She's so grumpy in the morning, and it's challenged like to start the day with my younger daughter because she comes in already like my sister's yelling at me, she's screaming at me, she's saying things to me. Like she just I can handle her. I would be just like kind of try not to engage, but setting boundaries like, no, you have to talk to me like this, or you have to get out of bed. But my younger daughter, she's like she's always so mean to me. So I struggle with that a lot, like the morning grumpiness and rudeness. Just overall rudeness. I'm working on
Yeah.
specifically like if I'm saying something to them, like into their faces, I'm working on getting them to say yes, no, or I got it, I heard you, like a response that like something went in there and that registered, as
Yeah.
opposed to just she looks at me or they both look at me and they'll just like carry on with whatever they're doing. So like I don't want to repeat myself
Yeah.
1,000 times and becoming so like rudeness in terms of just responsiveness, just like normal manners, and then specifically like she'll be just like yelling for like why are you touching my stuff or don't come near my bed, like something so rude. I just yeah, I feel bad for my younger daughter because she gets this
Yeah.
dragon.
Yeah, a couple of things came to mind. I mean, I want to talk about the morning, but on the rudeness, it really does start with those good responses. So you're on the right track. When they're giving a rude response, then make sure you say, you can do it a couple different ways. I'm going to wait until you say yes,
Mhm.
mom. So you can just
Mhm.
stand there and be quiet. And they're like, what? It's like, I'm waiting for yes, mom.
Okay.
Um, and also, and then sometimes I don't, like if they're really grumpy, I don't necessarily require it, but sometimes I'll kind of, say, oh, what you meant to say was yes, mom. Cause sometimes they'll be like, okay,
Yeah.
fine,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, you just need to say yes, mom, and then we can move on, and so
Mhm.
I'm not so worried, like even if they're like, yes, mom, however they say it,
Yeah.
whatever they call you, if they don't call you mom, whatever. But
Yeah.
that yes is really important. Um, and it helps the brain. So for you to know, like, it's not just being militant about it or making them, sound like little soldiers or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just
No, for sure.
it yeah, it really helps their brain. And it's like instead of demanding that they're respectful, it's like it just is respectful. And I've found myself over the years of doing this that I feel like I'm more respectful when other people are asking me something or trying to get my attention because I've been practicing this so much with families that I realize, like, in our society, like we've kind of lost this. We're like, yeah, what,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
so I found that I I think that it helps, for the adults to have that better respect when my kids are getting my attention. I'm maybe not as formal about it, but I will like look at them and be like, oh, okay, or if I can't at that moment, I'll even say, like, I remember sometimes with my son, I'd say, I am thinking about something right now, and I just need a couple of more minutes to do this, and then I can listen to what you have to say. And at first it kind of made him mad. It was like cold prickly, like, because I'm not attuning to him right when he
Available.
wants it. But I explained to him, not in that moment, but later, like, I really want to hear what you have to say. But if my mind is on something else, I'm not giving you my full attention, even though you may think I am. And I want to be able to give you better attention. So when I say I need a couple of minutes and then I can do it, it's really so I can listen better. And that seemed to help a lot. He was older when I was going through that with him, but I found that to be helpful with all of my kids. So it's kind of modeling that piece of it in our responses. I think otherwise, like if something rude is said, just being able to say, like, you need to use kind words, is fine. Those reminders, use kind words, try again. No, thank you. But I also think, like, you have to kind of know. I had kids that were like that in the morning. I love this, the fiery dragons in the morning. I had other kids that it's like they just wanted to be quiet in the morning, and they didn't, like, they were grumpy about having to interact. And then I have other kids that are like me, that are a morning person and, get up pretty happy. I'm just wondering, on your morning routine, like, would it work to have, can your younger one get up earlier and you guys can have a little bit of time together?
Yeah, I
Like,
think
is
that's
there a
that's
time?
probably the problem because the older one doesn't sleep well. Um, or she will go to bed late because she has a hard time like winding down. So I let her stay up as late as she wants to because I wake her up at the same time no matter what. Um, so that she like gets tired enough, uh, to go to bed at a decent hour. But she will wake up. She doesn't have accidents anymore, but yeah, she would have nightly like wakings, and so she just didn't have like good quality sleep. So the problem was that the younger one sleeps the same amount of hours, but she sleeps well, and so she wakes up restful, and even if she's trying to sneak out, the like she wakes her up by just like quietly getting up and trying to exit. And then the older one will sort of like, why are you so loud? Like, oh. Usually that's what we try to achieve. Like my younger one will come into me and we'll quietly try to read or something. But
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it still is like a little bit of a game, to teach the younger one, like, um, because, well, and it kind of depends. Like, is the older one finally sleeping good in the morning, or is it still like she just doesn't ever really go into a good solid sleep?
she, right now, honestly, I can't figure out. I think um, we had like a couple of bad days where we just let her stay up too late in the morning. So like because she goes to bed so late, I don't want to wake her up because I don't want to face the dragon. So I would end up like having to wake her up at 9, right? Like we have to start learning already like at 10 and she's still just getting up. So that was a mistake. So I started waking her up earlier. So now I think she sleeps a little bit better during the night. She says she doesn't wake up to use the bathroom as much. I think it's getting better, but the problem is that she is inconsistent in her responses to my younger daughter. Like one day she'll be like, "Okay, let's play right away," and another day she's like super grumpy. She's so like my younger daughter doesn't get like a consistent um like expectation
Yeah.
of like, "Okay, I just need to get out of here and that's it." Or sometimes she'll be like playful and inviting. It's like honestly, I'm so worried about this abusive relationship they have sometimes. It's so inconsistent.
Well, I think it'd be really good conversation to have with with your older daughter, away
Mhm.
from the younger one,
Mhm.
when it's not happening. Like, hey, I know that sometimes in the morning you just want to be left alone
Yeah.
and you need it to be kind of quiet. And then other times you wake up and you're happy and you're ready to
Okay.
go. And we don't know. right? Like none of
Right.
us around you know when it's coming. Um,
Yeah.
but we need it to be more consistent in the morning, and you're going to need this for your life. Like you need to figure out what kind of person you are, right? If you're not a morning person, that's fine, but you still have to function in the mornings and you still have to be kind to other people.
Mhm.
So we're going to establish a morning routine, and whether you're having a good morning or a bad morning, like we're going to kind of follow this routine. So if she gets up early and she's fine, she gets to have some quiet time to do something, but it's not playtime in the morning. Like it's,
Right, right.
it's like, even if it's only 10 minutes with your younger one when she gets up, and then, it's another, 20 minute, or, however long, because I know that you still need to get them up consistently. I think
Yeah.
in order for them to have a consistent night's sleep and bedtime, I think
Yes.
that the waking up is more important really than
Yeah.
anything, because some kids do need less sleep than other kids. Um,
I
but I
agree.
think having that consistency of like, okay, so if you are awake when someone else is sleeping, how do we act? What can we do? And I think getting your younger daughter, out of there so that when the older one wakes up, it's like, even if she's mad, like, oh, you woke me up, it's like the younger one's on her way out, whether that means she,
Mhm.
changes clothes in your room or whatever. I think, but I think it does warrant, I think your oldest daughter is old enough to have that kind of conversation and start to help her to know herself, right? Like it's not
Yeah.
okay to just say, I'm not a morning person and nobody can talk to me and nobody can do anything. It's like, you're not a morning person most of the time, but um, but we still have to function. We still have some things we have to do, so it's kind of like those of us that know, like I knew I had to have some time in the morning to myself before the day started. So I got really
Yes.
good at sneaking around the house
Hmm.
and being
Yeah.
really quiet and not waking anybody up, not even the dogs, if I could help it.
Mhm.
Um, so, your younger daughter may need some of those ninja skills too, because we don't know for sure how, she's little, and when you're happy, it's like she may think she's being quiet, but she can, it's like, your goal is to get out of the bedroom to have this time with me, because if your sister wakes up, then it starts our time, a lot faster
Right.
where we're
Right.
together time. So,
Yeah, that's a good point talking to the older one about like if she wants to have that, because all she wants to do when she's a dragon like that is just read. Um, for like 2 hours, she'll stay up there and she'll read. So I get that, but the problem was that I guess when we have like birthdays and competitions and stuff, she was so excited.
yeah,
She would wake up at like 6 a.m.
yeah,
Herself and be like so exhausted and so grumpy. So yeah, she wasn't consistent. So I need to. It's a really good point to teach her like this. If this is how you want it to be, you need to like make sure you don't jump and back and forth between like I want to play now or I want to leave me alone.
yeah. Well, and I think
Definitely.
it is important, because like if she's super excited, like I think that for her to know that, like, right, if you wake up in the morning and you're excited, like we have the holiday, all these things, like that's
Yeah.
totally fine. But your morning routine's like, okay, then this is what you do in the morning. But we still have this time when we come out of our rooms, and whether you're in a good mood or a bad mood, we start to do our day. So,
So it's not okay to let her read there for like an hour or so.
um, well, I thought when we talked about it before, I thought it was becoming a problem because then she couldn't transition into school. So it's
Yeah,
up to
yeah,
you
yeah, that's true.
if she can, if she can transition into school, that's fine. But if it's delaying her, it's almost like a dream state sometimes when you're reading like that, you're
Yeah,
not really in
yeah,
this world. Um,
yeah.
yeah. Um, maybe that's her. Yeah, I don't know. You'll have to kind of see where the off button is, on helping her. If it
Yeah.
if it makes her more moody, or if she can, she had her
I mean,
times.
nothing I can do about that anyways. I can't like grab her and bring her from I'd take her out of bed. The
Yeah,
only Yeah, the only way she gets down if she hears like we're having fun with me and your younger daughter. We're like having some fun.
yeah,
She'll hear
yeah.
it.
So make sure your first activity in the morning is lots of fun. You know, my kids, I had kids that seriously, like that's what we did. We had family reading time. But we always had like hot cocoa and,
Mhm.
you know, breakfast. And it was like the kids that were quiet kind of just sat there, but the ones that were quiet in the morning but they all kind of gravitated, you know, it's kind of like when you start smelling the pancakes and bacon, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I think that it was just the reading at the table that we decided was probably not good. But if she gets up early and then she starts reading and she's been reading for a couple of hours, it may be even harder to get her to come back into this world. So,
Yeah, it is true because she is hungry by then. She just doesn't realize it. If it's been like an hour and a half, she's starving on top of being cranky. So that's really the
yeah, now
recipe
her
for
blood
disaster.
sugar levels are low and
Yeah,
she's
exactly.
got all
Mhm.
that, you know. Yeah, so, you know, even having something consistently that you come down to, it's like you come down at this time, we're ready to go. Like you don't have to be happy about it, but you know, this is when um the cocoa is and you know, the
Mhm.
morning game or whatever it is we do.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Thank you.
yeah, no problem. If they want any help today, so I'm just gonna let everyone go early and we'll see you after Thanksgiving. Have a great start to your holiday season.